going to take Brother Vince's cue and take a moment and take a breath with you. It's a long night, and I thank you for being here with us and listening to every testimony, every compelling piece of evidence for downsizing. I know that you're already mandated to do this, and I know that it's a difficult decision for all the different places and sites that are advocating. But as you know, Hawaii is not like all the other sites, and I know you felt this tonight. Hawaii has been my adopted home. It's a place where I've learned to breathe, where I've learned to become a midwife and serve not only the local communities here, but also the military families. It's a home where I've learned where we can move forward together. So that said, it's an issue of international restitution. I know you know this. An issue for justice for the Army to consider Hawaii as being first on the list for personnel cuts, and first for the subsequent BRAC base realignment and closure process. In fact, the reduction of 1,900 troops must be seen only as a starting point, only a beginning. In the words of Kathy Petrossi, the former mayor of Rantoul, Illinois, where the Chanute Air Force Base was closed in 1993, she said, "We have survived, and most of our citizens agree that we are better off today than prior to closure. People have said it here, the Aina will take care of us." We are a resilient people, and with strong local leadership, a reimagined Hawaii that is independent of the war machine can be possible. Contrary to the greenwashing efforts, the military must be a better steward of the land. The leaking fuel tanks in Salt Lake and the depleted uranium in the Pohakaloa training area do not inspire our confidence. These are prime examples of environmental protection failures. And though conservation land acquisitions that have been funded by the Army and the military, they do not mitigate compound and cultural and public health damages already done. Sequestration and the mandate for troop reduction should be seen as a critical opportunity to support the continued healing of lands and people. Compared to the tremendous environmental burden on the land and the water, the socioeconomic balance sheet for the Army on these lands have been bleeding red for too long. The cost has not only been shouldered here, but through the Pacific, where our youth's lives have been disproportionately fed the war machine. Those who are 14 years old and older, I have a 14-year-old daughter, by the way, she cannot even imagine what it was like to live in peacetime, because she's only known the state that we've been in. With utmost respect to the sacrifices made by extended families like mine and those in uniform, a troop reduction and return of the land to the Hawaiian people must be seen as the just answer. The time is now. Local solutions and possibilities for local needs, such as housing and sustainable agriculture, are urgently waiting. They are waiting to be imagined. They are waiting to be birthed. Thank you, and a special thank you also to Women's Voices, Women Speak, who hold this position with me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aloha. My name is Kim Kompak, and I'm
instructor and graduate student at UH Manoa in the English department. I just want to give a shout out to Kanaka Maoli, on whose land that we're all occupying right now. I am so thrilled to be here and to be with so many smart people speaking truth to power. This is a unique opportunity, and I am thrilled to be here. I'd like to mention that I'm also a member of Decolonial Pinais, a group of diasporic Filipinos here on the island committed to the demilitarization and liberation of Hawaii and all its peoples. I want to remind the committee of 3 facts we all know but seldom admit. First, while the military is credited with being a job creator and a vehicle of community life, in truth it is the institution tasked with waging war, destruction, and death. Second, the U.S. war machine is highly profitable for an elite military-industrial complex, and it is that industry that has spun U.S. foreign policy completely and obscenely out of control. Third, the U.S. flag no longer represents democracy, it represents capitalism and a voracious greed for other people's oil, land, and natural resources. This idea that the military, and even war itself, is good for the economy and therefore cannot be questioned, exemplifies the kind of morally bankrupt thinking that troubles me so deeply. It's time to reflect on Dr. Martin Luther King's words, quote, "A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual doom." It's not possible to ask dead soldiers whether it was worth it to sacrifice their lives to avenge 9/11 or to locate weapons of mass destruction that never existed in the first place. No, the dead cannot speak for themselves, so it's useful to think about those dead as we plan on how we want to live in the future. According to the Department of Defense, as of this month, the wars on terror, as they're called, have resulted in the deaths of 6,847 U.S. military, right? Twice how many died in 9/11, with over 52,000 people wounded in action. That's just on the U.S. side of the gun. Additionally, there are multiple epidemics growing in the U.S. military: domestic violence, rape, post-traumatic stress disorder, and suicide. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, 22 veterans commit suicide every day, now outpacing combat deaths. Shameful. In Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, deaths range anywhere from 174,000 to 655,000, with literally millions more left impoverished, orphaned, widowed, and displaced. And as our own Hawaii-born Major Antonio Taguba reminds us, tens of thousands more imprisoned and tortured. For all these reasons, I urge you to support this downsize and return those lands for an exclusively non-military purpose that supports human dignity and peace. Thank you.
Aloha. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. My name is Kyle Kajihiro. I'm with Hawaii Peace and Justice. We strongly support the proposed Army reduction. I think it's a necessary first step towards addressing some of these historical wrongs that you've got a sense of here today. You have a history problem here. The genealogy of the military's presence in Hawaii began with what was called by President Cleveland an act of war against a peaceful and neutral country. And so that basic fact hasn't gone away. The result of that overthrow is that today the military controls hundreds of thousands of acres of land, the majority of which are lands of the Hawaiian Kingdom that were wrongfully taken and are disputed as to their status. And others have mentioned the island of Oahu, a quarter of our island, a small little island, a quarter of it is controlled by the military. So those are a tremendous burden for the community to bear for 100 years. I want to talk some stories and bring some voices in that are not with us in life today, but are a part of our movement. In 1976, 9 young Native Hawaiians landed on Kaho'olawe Island to protest the Navy bombing of the sacred place. They put their lives on the line at great risk. They were removed relatively quickly, but soon there was another landing and another and another, and it grew into a movement. This movement inspired a cultural renaissance. It inspired a sovereignty movement. It energized the community to see the possibilities of what they could do with determination, with good intentions, with their hearts and spirits in the right place to care for the land. Alohaaina was their slogan, to love the land, to care for it. And they succeeded. In 1990, the bombing stopped. The land has been returned. The cleanup is still an ongoing problem, but that has been progress. Within a couple of months of the first landing in 1976, there was a rally in Makua Valley on Oahu to also protest the Army's live fire training in that valley and the wrongful taking of that land. And that struggle has continued from the 70s to the present. So as others have mentioned, through the combination of protests and legal challenges, we've been able to stop training in that valley for 10 years, and we will get Makua returned to the community. It's just a matter of time. But we would rather it be done in a proactive way as opposed to an antagonistic way. And we see that this proposal for Army downsizing is an opportunity for us to move forward, to lean into the change, and see that good things can come out of it, because there are opportunities in this. I want to bring two other elders into this room with us. Uncle Walter Kamahana would share his stories of growing up as a child in Makua Valley. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941, he was evicted. His whole community was evicted from the valley. They were given 24 hours to move their things down the road, and he watched as his homes and the church was destroyed for target practice. They painted a white cross on the roof of the church and they bombed it. He was haunted by that image all his life, and he's passed away now, but his story has also embedded and implanted itself in the hearts of many people in the community, and we carry on his vision to see that land return. What was promised is that the land would come back 6 months after the war. That was World War II. So it hasn't come back. Another kupuna I want to bring into the room is Uncle Raymond Kamaka. Uncle Raymond's family had land in Waikani Valley for many generations. They lent their lands to the military during World War II for training, and they were promised that it would be cleaned up and returned after the war. It was returned he began farming in the 70s, but unexploded ordnance turned up. At that point, the Marines condemned the parcel over his objections, over his protests, and just because it was too expensive and too dangerous. He fought continuously for many years and just recently passed away, unable to see the progress that we have made now, getting the Marines to begin taking the cleanup project seriously. So they've begun the process of removing that ordinance, and hopefully the productive agriculture areas will come back to the community. So there is progress that we can see. I think that a downsizing needs to be done responsibly. Many people will be affected by this negatively, and I think that that should be also taken into consideration. So that there is an economic transition, there is ways to help the dislocated workers, the businesses that will be affected, so that they can also look forward to transitioning to an alternative future. And the mayor brought up Barbara's Point, but unfortunately he's not here. You know, I think the failure of Barbara's Point was the failure of imagination, the failure of political will. It's precisely the result of the kind of a symptom of the kind of political reaction we're having right now to this Army proposal. People were in avoidance mode, they were in denial, and they failed to embrace the change and move it forward in a way that was actually beneficial for the community. So I welcome your coming here and bringing this question before us. I hope that you will choose to downsize the Army in Hawaii to the fullest extent, so that we can begin the process of reconciling this broken relationship that we have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha mai kalahui, amena ohana apau to all the families and the people who hold love for beautiful Mauna Wākea. Today, this morning, I received word that the machinery that's coming up to begin grading and ripping at the earth on top of Mauna Kea for TMT was moved in the night. As I arrived down below, they do still have the access road to the Mauna blocked for safety reasons of high machinery heavy machinery in the mountain. One uncle explained that the tractor is so large they can only move about 3 miles an hour. They're almost. So I am posting these videos to let everyone know where I'm at, out of safety for myself, and also to show the people and everyone that we as Kanaka, we mean what we say. This is not just some superficial talk that we're talking about sacred. This is our piko. And for me, kuleana, we want to uphold these things. We want to call ourselves Hawaiian. Then we better definitely dedicate. Oh look, it's Mr. Ishibashi. Aloha. We'll see what happens. Mahia ya oko. They will move. Yeah.
Back. We just want to keep a constant presence here, and we're trying to keep, like, some of us, the po'os, some of us who are helping to organize some things, who have some of the information and stuff. We always want to keep one of us present so we can, share the information with everybody. Also, very important though, I'm going to put this out there, is holding the kapu aloha. That is the thing that has really made this movement go worldwide. More than the fact that we just stopped something. That happens all the time. The big difference, and that we've heard back from people in so many different countries, is their admiration for our aloha. How we spoke, how we carried ourselves, and how we continue. We have to uphold that and keep that. So, just one of the things we're having, some people kind of help to organize things to always be present. So yeah, we want to be able to organize that. So if you guys can share your information and stuff too. And we're putting words out there. I already know of a bunch of other people who said they're not coming today, but they can come tomorrow. They go to the weekend, work, and so keep coming in as much as we can. I'm kind of like changing my car into my bedroom for a little bit. Come sleep on the mauna, make sure everything is maikai. In this time of that where we are facing a threat, we need to be vigilant all the time. Really calling our koa.
I just want to, aloha everybody. I just want to add to what Lanakila is saying about the kapu aloha that's here. And today is going to be a calmer day, but for those of us who might be here tomorrow for the coming days, we'll actually be interacting with the security guards and construction workers. I plead from the bottom of my heart, just to remain in that kapu aloha, and to approach everyone just with the deepest empathy, compassion, love that you can find in you for them. Although they're standing on the opposite side, just try and see it from their perspective. It doesn't mean that you need to accept it, but it'll just help you build compassion in your heart for them. I think the fact that they're not fully aware of what they are helping with, actually see how they're contributing to this bigger issue of the TMT and its development.